Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Ooh, I'm a little bit nervous today because I have to talk about a very important topic and I am usually all over the place. So please, I don't even know what I'm about to say. Anyways, if you see me here for the first time, you probably came for the topic of the video, but if you don't know me, I'm Carol and I have a little bit of a hobby that has gotten out of hands, which is loving handbags. Today we're going to talk about my weight loss and how semaglutide or GLP-1 literally saved my life. I lost almost 60 pounds, which equates to almost 30 kilos. I'm 28. I have plateaued the past couple of months, but it's cool. I'm going to call it 30 kilos, 60 pounds. I lost it over the course of just two months short of a year. So I'll tell you what my experience was like, and I feel I really want to share it because I'm sure it's going to help someone else out there who was just as desperate and just as much of a in a dark space as I was. Now, before I get into the video, I'm usually not a huge disclaimer person, but I want to make it very clear that I'm not a doctor. I'm nothing. I'm just your average gal sharing with you my own experience. So I don't have any credentials on talking about medicine or psychology or anything like that. I'm just sharing with you my own experience. I thought I just have to put it out there because I don't want you guys to think that I'm overly confident and I'm telling you what to do. Please do make your own research. And one person that I can absolutely wholeheartedly recommend to you is someone I know from YouTube, a very lovely lady. She's Emma Anders. She also, for the longest of time, filmed about luxury handbags. And lo and behold, she beat me to it. A few months ago, she uploaded a video on how she has been also using GLP-1s. Her channel will be in the description box below. I highly recommend you go check her out. She's a doctor, so she knows what she's talking about. If you need more information, then definitely go over there. And I will also add a few more resources that I found that were helpful for me. Again, I want you to be very open-minded because this is kind of what you have to be when you're talking about medicine and all that. Oh my goodness, I've been rambling for over 3 minutes now. Okay. Whoop. Where shall I begin? First of all, go grab a drink or something because this is going to be a little bit of a podcasty video. Just put it on when you're folding laundry or I don't know, ironing, doing something very tedious. This is the first time I'm talking about this in front of so many people, so please forgive me if every now and then I get a little bit weird. I'm going to tell you my side of my story and we're just going to run with it. So, I'm a 37-year-old woman today, and my journey or my ordeal with weight and food and all that started when I was 5. I did not have the happiest of childhoods. I was 5 when I started figure skating, and I grew up with a parent, well, my mom. My mom was a single mom. There are some things that I'm very thankful for that she did or taught me or whatnot, but one huge thing that she did screw up was the fact that I never had a good relationship with food. From the age of 5, I was dieting. I had water days, carrot days, veggie days. Food was always a source of stress for me. Things were on the not allowed list. There was a lot of stress associated with it. What I remember most vividly was being around 8, 9 years old and going to kids' birthdays and being weighed before I left home and then being weighed again after I returned home. So I knew the entire time I was at the party that I should not eat too much, or if I did eat too much, I knew that it would have consequences. And so it's just a little illustration to show you with how much stress towards food I grew up with. It's just a little puzzle piece of that. I'm not going to bother you with all the rest, but safe to say, I developed a very, very bad relationship with food. I became a binge eater, and that's pretty much what I did most of my life. There were phases where I could just be normal for a year or two, maybe 3 max. But as soon as life throws curveballs, and I don't mean just teeny tiny ones and teeny tiny inconveniences, I just feel that my life, the past, well, quite a long time, 15 years, 16 years, has been this never-ending, like, American roller coaster where just one thing whacks me after the other. This prompted me just piling up kilos year after year after year. Now, if we talk about sports in my life, then I started figure skating when I was 5 years old, and I figure skated well up until I was 15, 16. And whoever has done figure skating, I didn't do it on a pro level, but it was a very intense workout that I did. Definitely 4 or 5, sometimes 6 days a week that I had workouts. And I enjoyed it very much. It was a very lovely escapism. I sucked at it. I never won anything. But in terms of like a good full body physical workout, it was a perfect sport for me. And the sport is still in my life up until today. I still am connected to the figure skating world, and that is neither here nor there. But what I wanted to illustrate is I have done sports a lot in my life. I feel that I know a lot about sports. I know a lot about food, a lot about nutrition. It's not a question of me not knowing what I need to fuel my body with. For me, it was always a mental thing. Also, my entire adult life, because of the childhood that I had, I very quickly realized I need to fix a lot of things within myself. I have done all kinds of therapies that you can think about. I have done, I have worked a lot on myself to fix the root cause. And I was making a lot of progress on so many levels, except for food. And it was always the thing where I could easily have like a very normal, good period of time, a week or two, that I would eat normally. But then if you sit down and you consume 5,000, 6,000 calories in one sitting, it messes up everything. You can be as good as you want to be. You're just basically shooting yourself in the leg. So it was a vicious circle like that. To add gravity to that, since I kept on piling on weight, I developed some back problems. But a proud woman as I am, I trooped through it. I thought I need to keep on moving, do sports, all that. And so the past, I want to say like 7, 8, 9 years, were a sort of a vicious circle where I would go and work out. I would, try to find also fun things to do, tennis, all that kind of stuff. I would give it my all, and then I would be crippled for a couple of weeks and had to take some heavy painkillers to just get rid of my back pain. Now, long story short, it all culminated 3 years ago when I rushed into the emergency room at the hospital because I had something that is called cauda equina or cauda equina, which is basically a hernia, but in your lowest disc. And it's a type of hernia that needs immediate medical attention because if left untreated for a period of time, which is a very short window of time, normally like 48 hours max, it could possibly render you crippled for life. It's also, from what I've understood, one of the most lawsuited ailments that patients can have when they come to a hospital, doctors are trained to look for the signs of cauda equina. And if you're not treated, like I said, anywhere between 12 hours to 48 hours, you can get permanent nerve damage or end up in a wheelchair. So the powerful lady that I pushed through for so long and so much that at some point I could not feel anything from below the belt. It was a very weird sensation because I could still walk, if you could call that walking, but I could not feel anything below the belt. Anyways, if you want to hear the story, I could easily make a story time. I'm not going to bother you with that. However, I had emergency surgery. I was told on the spot that I had walked around with it for way too long. The surgeon was rushed in on a national holiday during the night to the emergency room. He had to operate on me, and I saw him for the first time when I was about to be sedated. And all he said was, I will do my utmost best, but I usually want to operate within 12 hours, max like 20 hours. And you've been already walking around with it for way more than 24 hours, nearly 48. So the chances are it could also not go that well, but I will do whatever I can to make sure you can walk again. And then I was put under, and I remember waking up. Whoa, I'm getting a little bit emotional. Didn't see that coming. Then I remember waking up, and the first thing I felt was I did not have any pain. Well, the very first thing was like, wow, I'm alive. And then I felt I didn't have any pain. And then I quickly wanted to figure out whether I can feel my toes. And once I figured that out, I just fell back asleep again. After that, I realized that I had won the lottery. Everyone told me that this was such a close call. I could easily be in a wheelchair today. And I swore to myself that I was going to lose all of the excess kilos, because this is one of the issues as well for your back. Overweight is not just the look and just like, I don't know, gut health. It's everything, your whole body. None of our bodies was made to carry us double. So I swore to myself that I was going to get myself together, and I had to really, I was so thankful. I cannot even describe it to you. We moved to the house where we are living at now, but it was a construction site, and I had to revalidate in chaos, but it was fine. I was really, really happy. Fast forward to last year. It was 2 years after my surgery, and I had not lost almost any weight. I started last year. I want to be also very clear, I do not believe in diets. I just want to put it out there. I'm not talking about diets or anything, but I'm just really talking about for me at least, the mindfulness, the fact that I'm not overeating. I was the type of person who went on a holiday with the family and I would lose weight because there I would feel calm and zen. The minute I came home, due to a lot of different reasons, construction being done on the house and a lot of disruptors for me that were difficult for me to digest emotionally. For some people, this would have been a piece of cake. For me, I don't know, my cup runneth full for a long time. So it was kind of constantly flowing over. And my escape was to sedate myself with food. It is just what it is. I'm ashamed to say that, but it's just the pure facts. It was an old coping mechanism. And I was quite desperate last year. I started in January with my kind of you've got just this one life. You need to be healthy. You need to be healthy. I have a 12-year-old daughter whom I love very dearly, and I want to be around when she gets married or doesn't, or I just, and I was really neglecting myself. So I was mentally in a very, very dark place last year. And it took a chain of events that led me to my GP, whom I don't frequent that often because I'm generally, knock on wood, quite healthy. And I went there for a completely separate reason. I needed a prescription for something. And because it was a very quick in and out, and he probably had a few minutes to spare, he asked me something he normally never asked. He was like, and is there anything else I can help you with? Because I know GPs, they don't have any time. It's just like, it's a rat race. I have a lot of respect for GPs. They don't have much time. They're in a very tight schedule and all that. Do you know what's funny? I'm talking about my back, and for the first time in a long time, I suddenly feel a little bit of back pain. It's like it's saying, are you talking about me behind my back? What? Anyways, it was one of those moments, like, when someone puts a hand on your shoulder, looks you deep in the eye, says, but how are you really doing? How are you? And then you go, the doctor did not put his hand on my shoulder. I just want to be clear about that. But I mean, he just said, like, is there anything else I can help you with? And then he just opened the can of worms, and I started like bawling, and I said, I'm just at a loss here. I'm not stupid. I'm not a moron. I know that I got such a chance in life. I won the lottery tenfold, 100-fold, and I'm still at the same place I was 2 years ago. And my gut is telling me that I will be on the surgery table in no time again with the same thing. And I cannot describe to you the shame that I felt. And I told him as well, like, I don't want to be this person, It is like, it's like someone who has lung cancer from smoking and keeps on smoking and then like relapses again. It's that, you're not an idiot, but you keep on, So he looked at me, he was like, okay, but you do know that there are things, there are medications that you can take nowadays to lose weight. And of course, I had heard of all of the medications and Ozempic and all that. Friends had even told me like, oh, man, why don't you do that? And in my mind, I was like, first of all, easy come, easy go. Anything that is a quick fix or a quick something, did not believe in that. And secondly, knowing my luck, I was like, no way in hell that I'm going to take anything that is going to create another problem for me. Or that I don't know, I was thinking of the worst things, that I would have to walk around with a urine bag outside of my body because I messed up everything inside internally. So I didn't say that, but I kind of told him I don't want to have any new problems. And he told me quite calmly, like, I haven't, actually, there are not that many huge problems I see. A lot of people have a lot of success with it. He referred me to an endocrinologist, and after a bunch of tests and talks and all that, she thought I was a good candidate for Rybelsus, which is a pill form of Ozempic, if you like. It is something that is taken every single day, half an hour before your breakfast or any first consumption of liquid or breakfast, and starts at the lowest dosage, which is 3 grams, builds up to 7 and then to 14. And this is literally what saved my life. Now, when I got the prescription, I had like humongous mixed feelings. I was over the moon because a doctor had seen that I had a problem, was able to give me something that potentially could help me. But I did not go and purchase the medication for another 2 days because I was going so deep on the internet, YouTube, Google. I went so far as I possibly could, just to kind of make sure I know whatever there is that I need to know, because that's kind of how I am. I want to know what's going on. And lo and behold, what I discovered about this medication, or semaglutide, or GLP-1, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to call it semaglutide maybe, I don't know. It is not a chemical gunk. Well, they do make it up. I mean, I don't know the technicalities, okay? Like I told you, isn't it obvious already by now? I'm not a doctor. But it's not like this chemical concoction that they create. It's not a chemical fake thing. I'll tell you this, I trust semaglutide a lot more than I trust the pill. That's it. That's a whole other can of that is actually an actual can of worms. But Rybelsus and semaglutide, GLP-1, whatever you want to call it, I'll just say semaglutide, because this is kind of what I've been researching the most. It is something that is also, from what I've understood, is naturally also produced by your body, but not in those, not in that amount, or just not in everyone. It's kind of like you have a chemical imbalance. That's pretty much what I understood. And I started using it, and the number one thing, the first thing that I realized, and I keep telling to everyone who ever wants to hear it, I got over the shame as well of admitting that I'm using helping things to lose weight, because I felt really very ashamed. I grew up with a narcissistic mother, so I always make excuses for myself in terms of you're not good enough and you have to do it yourself and da 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 da. So I felt very ashamed, and the minute I saw that it works, I was like, F the shame. I'm sorry, but F the shame. The fact that my head was so clear, there was no noise anymore. And I keep hearing left and right and center that this is helpful for so many people, mainly for that reason. So kind of to illustrate my life before taking Rybelsus, pretty much revolved around food. I woke up, I thought about food. I knew I was going to be home alone. I thought, what am I going to do as a snack board? What am I going to eat? There was always, I was insatiable. I was physically insatiable. And from the moment that I started taking the lowest doses, I just got so much real estate back. There was so much like free space. It was pretty much like cleaning up a MacBook that has been stuck for God knows how many years. And you're just cleaning up the hard drive, and suddenly you have this huge palace of space, and you can fill it up with whatever you want that is not food. This is how it feels, or felt, or feels, both. And the minute I felt that, oh my God, such a weight fell off my shoulders, literally and figuratively speaking. So now we're in March, and I started with the medication in May. I still have a way to go. I want to lose about 15 more kilos. It's purely to be in the healthy zone. A lot of people are so kind to say, like, but you already look so good. Thanks, guys. But I still do need to do a little bit more work. So I took Rybelsus until a couple of weeks ago, when I visited my GP again. And he saw that my weight loss had kind of plateaued. I have not, thankfully, put on any weight, but it has kind of plateaued. So right now I switched to Manjaro on the lowest dose, and I am gonna see what it gives. but I'm patient. I never aimed to have like a super fast weight loss. I wanted to be a marathon. It was the first time, I'm telling you, the first time that I felt that a marathon was enjoyable, because I saw how it was going, and it truly shifted something in me mentally. Also, all of the work that I had done in the past, so my therapies, I don't even know how to describe it. There's been so many years of like self-improvement, of research on my mental state, working on it. There's been a lot of that. And I feel for the first time in my life that all of the little bits that I have been trying, a little bit of this here, a little bit of that there, that they're kind of like coming all together and working together to offer me this full-blown shift that is what is going on today. It's not a miracle drug either, in the sense that you do need to put some work into it, but it truly feels like you're climbing a fence, and you still have to use your own muscles to kind of just push yourself over the fence, but there is someone there nudging you, pushing you from behind, just giving you that nudge. And that alone, for me, is priceless. I cannot describe it any other way. I make better food choices. I feel that my body is craving for better food choices. I'm even speechless just to think about all of the things that he has done. So I think that I'm going to wrap up the video here. I don't even know exactly how this video is going to help you, because I know it's been a little bit all over the place. What I'm hoping is that if you have any questions, if you want me to make a follow-up video, maybe put your questions down in the comment section below, or if you don't want to ask publicly, you can also head over to Instagram and DM me over there. I'm more than happy to help you with whatever it is that I can help you with, like some suggestions or whatnot, my own experience basically, because like I said, I'm not a specialist. But the one thing that I want to say to wrap everything up is, if you hear horror stories of people saying like, oh yes, but you're never going to keep on the weight, off the weight, you're never going to do this, you're never going to do that, and your intestines are going to be perforated forever, and you will have lifelong explosive diarrhea or whatnot. All of the negative things from what I have researched with my very professional research team, which is just me, myself, and I, the many side effects and the horrendous side effects are vastly because of wrong dosages. So you cannot just go in there and be like, I want to take the highest dosage. If you think about it logically, if you have side effects like diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, it is a clear sign that you have too large of a dosage. And the other thing that is so important is it's not something that you can just take and keep on your Western unhealthy diet, where you are going into drive-ins from morning till evening, because what the substances do, essentially, they slow down your metabolism so that you have a longer feeling of satiety. And that makes it that if you have crap in your intestines going around real slow, it kind of makes sense why you would feel rubbish and disgusting and like nauseous and all that. So I think that the horror stories that you hear is people who have not adjusted their food choices. And I personally have not experienced any side effects. Knock on wood. I don't know why I feel the need to do that. This was quite a ramble. Yeah, this is how I shared my story. I will definitely do a part 2 because there are probably loads of things that are going to pop into my head the moment I stop recording. And also I'm waiting for your questions so that I can maybe make a Q&A. That way I can really share with you more details on my weight loss. And yeah, that was the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you again next time. Bye.